It's April 3rd, 2025, the day after Liberation Day. Do you feel liberated? The stock market is about to plummet. And just like in this book, there's a lot of negative anticipations. I get the feel with this book that there was war on the horizon. He kept bringing up war, and it was a lot of speak about food, and it made me think that someone was suffering from food disparity. Now, those themes did exist in the prior Oz books also, but it felt different in this one. So I Googled, when was this book written? It was 1913, and World War I started in 1914. So the boots of war were on the march in this book, The Patchwork Girl of Oz. And I didn't enjoy this book very much. I had read other people's comments online, and one person said this was one of his favorites, and I can't figure out why. Besides the fact that it just droned on and on, it felt like it was a one-trick pony. It had a problem at the beginning where the guy's wife and another person, I think, was frozen solid, like I don't remember if they were made into like wood or if they're made into stone or something, frozen solid. And he had accidentally used this powder again, which is a drug reference I felt along the whole series. There's always some kind of weird powder. It does something to somebody. But anyway, a couple people get frozen, and they decide that they need to go on this quasi adventure to find ingredients to make another potion or whatever to undo what caused the problem. And there's, like I said, there's going to be a small amount of spoiler in this, I guess, maybe more than small, but if you don't want to hear it, then probably don't watch this. But it's not worth reading anyway, in my opinion. I didn't like this book. The reason I'm reading it is because I'm going to show you again. I bought the entire box set, and it is called, what is it called? The Wizard of Oz Collection by L. Frank Baum. And the box is quite beautiful. And there's some good books in this collection, don't get me wrong. But in my opinion, this is just not one of them. I'm halfway through. This is book number 7. There's 15 books. 14 are written by L. Frank Baum. The last one was written by another person and kind of pawned off as his, even though it wasn't. But this one, the problem was mentioned very quickly. And then it's like, again, just an introduction of characters. The difference in this one is it's got the Tin Woodman, also known as the Tin Man in the movies, but in the books it's called the Tin Woodman. You've got the Scarecrow. I did enjoy the part about the glass cat. It actually made me want to try to find a Wizard of Oz official glass cat, because the glass cat had a red heart and a pink brains, and it was made out of glass, obviously, so it sounded like it was pretty cute. I could not find one of those anywhere. So someone, if there's a revival of the original Oz books, might want to create a glass cat replica from the Patchwork Girl of Oz. I think some people might buy it. I probably would have, because that was the funnest part, in my opinion, was the glass cat. But yeah, the Tin Woodsman, the Scarecrow. I think it had the wooden horse that could fly. It had a bunch of characters in it, and then it had the Shaggy Man, which I've never really understood the Shaggy Man, but he's in there. And that part just droned on and on and on, and they get to the end where they have to assemble their potion from all these pieces that they tried to find, and at the end they were unsuccessful. And I'm not going to tell you how it wrapped up, but it was way too convenient and anticlimactic, and it was kind of pointless if you're just going to use an escape clause to get out of the story. But it just went on too long, and it was not much of a plot. There was a book prior to this one that basically felt like it had no plot. It was just like Party Time in Oz was one of the books, but that one was actually more fun than this one. And I felt guilty for not liking that book very much, even though it was fun. There was no story. This one wasn't really that fun. Like I said, I felt the marching of war on the horizon in this book a little bit, it seemed like to me. And it seems like in general, as I get farther down into this set, that L. Frank Baum just didn't want to write these anymore. Now I'll be happily surprised if I get another good book out of this group, but I don't know at this point. I'm committed now. I'm 7 books in and I'm not going to stop. So I'm starting the 8th book, which is the beginning of books based after, well, let's say it this way. This was about the Patchwork Girl of Oz, so I should talk about her a little bit. There's some racial controversy regarding her in history, and I read about it and I didn't fully understand it. I think it was more of that time that it referred to something I was not familiar with, and I didn't really understand it. That said, the character TikTok I really enjoyed in the previous book. The next book is called TikTok of Oz. And I'll pop this thing out of here if I can get it out of the case. It's stuck. And then after that, The Scarecrow of Oz. And then Rinky Tink of Oz, Lost Princess of Oz, Tin Woodman of Oz. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books in a row that are based on characters that exist in this series. And so that should be fun, I hope, because like I said, I really enjoyed reading about TikTok. He was an interesting character to me, and he's the copper robot, and that's the one next up on my docket. I've also started reading. I'm reading 3 books at a time, which is what I did with this last one, and it helped because I didn't like this book. And the other 2 books that I read, I just previously live reviewed yesterday. They were kind of okay. It was The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain was just kind of okay. And the other one, what was it? I just forgot what it was. It is War in the Air, which had a real good premise, but then the fictional war was outdated and incorrect. So that kind of made it not really applicable unless you viewed it as like a alternate universe or something. I guess you could have done that. But so anyway, up next is TikTok of Oz. And I'm also reading 2 other books at the same time, just in case I'm not enthused with this one. You know, for me, if I have a real good book, I could mow it from front to back and it's great. But if it's droney or something I don't really dig about it, I like to read 2 other books at the same time, because then I can at least hopefully get some enjoyment from one of the other ones. And that tended to work with this last Oz book. So come on, TikTok, I need another good Oz book. I'm not down on the series overall. I mean, the series is okay, I guess, pretty good. Okay. Still, the best book was the 3rd one, and it was called Ozma of Oz, by far my favorite one. The first one was kind of weird and didn't really match up with the Wizard of Oz movie. They did a good job in modifying the script, so we'll see where this one takes us. I'm currently reading also about Captain Bligh and his account of the mutiny on the Bounty, which is actually called the Bounty Mutiny, not the Mutiny on the Bounty, which was a fictionalized account that came later. And the other book that I was going to start, I don't remember what it is. Anyway, it'll be in a live review here when I'm done with that one too. So hopefully TikTok of Oz is better.